It may die down for a second, but the boil will heat up. I'm telling you this now. And when that boil explodes, the goo of war will spread everywhere in that region. And it's going to engulf those people who had their hands in everything. The U.S., Israel, all of that. Because their prize is Iran. Again, back to those nations. We know about Pakistan, how they destabilize them. Look, they've done Iraq. Now they've done Syria. They've done Afghanistan. They've done Libya. They've done Yemen. They've done Somalia. Guess who's next on the list? Iran, right? So by not standing with Assad in Syria, you now invite the savages to your front door. You don't have the strategic depth that you had 3 weeks ago. You are losing the strategic depth that you had. People don't understand how critical that is. Why do you think America is everywhere? She wants strategic depth so that she can impose her policies or cower nations through bullying without it hitting her at her doorsteps. Iran has lost one of the main pillars of her strategic depth. You understand? Again, let's go back to Wesley. I just want you to hit a list of nations that he just mentioned, and then we'll come back after this.
Right after 9/11, about 10 days after 9/11, I went through the Pentagon and I saw Secretary Rumsfeld and Deputy Secretary Wolfowitz. I went downstairs just to say hello to some of the people on the Joint Staff who used to work for me, and one of the generals called me in. He said, "Sir, you got to come in. You got to come in and talk to me a second." I said, "Well, you're too busy." He said, "No." He says, "We've made the decision. We're going to war with Iraq." This was on or about the 20th of September. I said, "We're going to war with Iraq. Why?" He said, "I don't know." He said, "I guess they don't know what else to do." So I said, "Well, did they find some information connecting Saddam to Al-Qaeda?" He said, No. He says, "There's nothing new that way. They just made the decision to go to war with Iraq." He said, "I guess it's like we don't know what to do about terrorists, but we've got a good military and we can take down governments." And he said, "I guess if the only tool you have is a hammer, every problem has to look like a nail." So I came back to see him a few weeks later, and by that time we were bombing in Afghanistan. I said, "Are we still going to war with Iraq?" And he said, "Oh, it's worse than that." He said, he reached over on his desk, he picked up a piece of paper, and he said, I just got this down from upstairs," meaning the Secretary of Defense's office today, and he said, "This is a memo that describes how we're going to take out 7 countries in 5 years, starting with Iraq and then Syria, Lebanon, Libya, Somalia, Sudan, and finishing off Iran." I said, "Is it classified?"
And finishing off Iran. Notice every nation on that list were Muslim. Every nation. And what is the only survivor that has not been ravaged yet? Iran. So you lose Syria, you lose your strategic depth. Why aren't these generals and colonels and war planners thinking about that? So now the war will be right at your doorstep. But listen, as this war goes on, and shout out to my guy, M. Sparks. I see you. Thank you, man, for the well wishes. I really appreciate that. But I want you to think about this. When this war takes place in the Middle East, in North Africa, China and Russia will feed Iran a lot of weapons. And America is going to be nip and tuck. A little bit is going to look like the West is going to win, and it's going to look like Iran is going to win, and back and forth. Iran is going to give as good as it gets. But watch what I tell you all. And then America will claim victory. But a victory will be a defeat anyhow. Because think about the blood, the treasure, the resources, and the armaments that will be expended to fight this regional conflict. Because nobody there is going to sit out. Nobody's going to be able to sit out. The fiefdoms and the sheikdoms, they're going to collapse. Because they're only alive through the West. these made up countries that came up in 1970 something, 80 something, they're going to collapse because they won't have America there, the UK there. And this will then push America out, push the UK out. That's what we're looking at. So in this small battlefield victory, it puts America into a bind because now her wish is coming true. What wish is that? Anybody can go to Baghdad, but real men go to Tehran. You're getting your chance to. And it's going to cost you, it's going to cost you, and it's going to cost you. It's going to cost you your position in the region. It's going to weaken you for the upcoming war with China. And then when you double back to Europe to try to take on Russia, Russia's going to dig so far up into you, you're going to need to rent a backhoe to get up out of you. And that will be your stand, the last position, your last stand as a global power. Your last stand. And so there's an old saying, be careful what you wish for, because you just might get it. It looks good from the distance. And then when it comes near and it's right in your grasp, it's devastating. I want to thank each and every one of you for joining me on the most powerful platform for truth on earth. This is your platform for education, elevation, and edification. This is the Red Pill Diaries. I'm your brother, your host, and your friend Rashid. And remember to treat others as you would have them treat you. And do right by others, not because others are watching or because of some type of material gain, but do right by others because it's the right thing to do. Because even when no one else is watching, Almighty God has his eyes stayed on you. Until we next speak again, stay strong, stay true, but above all things, stay righteous. Hey, mama, your baby boy loves you more than life. Deuces, everybody. Thank you for joining me. We're out of here. Peace.